Hey, this is Pat, and today we're checking out the all-new Dainese Corso men's and Centrale women's Absolute Pro Shell Jacket. Now, the Corso and the Centrale are going to be aimed at colder weather riding, and I'd say around town, if you're commuting to work or if you're just riding around the city, lower speeds, but something that is going to be battling the elements, because this is definitely designed for colder weather. You have thermals, you don't have any ventilation, you have a thermal liner that is destination that you can remove, but it is going to be up against the elements with a fully waterproof shell, laminated to the exterior with a great waterproofing as well as breathability to that liner. That's what Absoluteshell from Dainese really brings to the table in this pretty sweet design. It's military-esque. If you're looking for something maybe a little bit longer, you can look at the Lambrate. That is the same jacket, longer in the torso, a little bit more trench coat style, but I really dig this camo, this unique color from Dainese with the military and like asymmetrical style looks to the color as well as the pocket. I think they knocked it out of the park, all for that $435 price point. Now, before I get too long-winded on all the features, let's talk about the fit, and we'll actually start with Lee. So we had Lee try this on. She is 5'4", 125 pounds with a 35-inch chest measurement, not a bust measurement, but the chest measurement, and she actually was fitting in a size 44. Now, if we reference her sizing chart and look at her measurements, everything like that, she would actually be one full size down from what Dainese is recommended. So keep that in mind. It is a little bit narrower in the shoulders. She would have liked a little bit more broadness on the interior of the shoulders and some adjustability, especially at the waist, is the feedback Lee gave us for trying that one on. So just keep that in mind. Take your measurements, reference the size chart, and go one size down for the Centrale. Now for the Corso, I have Norman on my left. He's 6'3", 220 pounds with a 44-inch chest, currently wearing a size 54, which is usually what we have Norman wearing when it comes to Dainese, and it's fitting him spot on, especially considering that thermal liner is installed right now. If he were to remove that, he gets a little bit more space if it's a little bit of a cooler day, not quite as cold. But the 54 is one size down from the sizing chart. I'd put him right between a 54 and a 56 in most of their lines, but 54 always seems to fit this guy spot on. So keep that in mind. For the women's, you're going to want to go down a size, and for the men's, you're going to want to go down a size as well. But let's talk about the overall features with this. You are looking at a polyester main construction throughout, again with that Absoluteshell Pro waterproofing laminated to the exterior, so you can't remove it, but it isn't going to be obtrusive up against you inside the jacket. It is laminated to the exterior shell. When you're looking at the abrasion resistance, it is CE level A abrasion rated, so it is going to be, like I said, for slower speeds, around town, commuting, things like that. Keep that in mind. But let's start up at the top up here. You have a massive, I'd call it a 3-inch collar up top, designed to protect the neck from any cold weather, and you have a non-removable hoodie. Now there is a strap at the back that you can cinch it down, but you can't actually physically remove it, so just keep that in mind. If you want a removable hood, there are other options within Dainese's line, or if you don't want it at all, like I said, take a look at the Lambrate. That's going to be longer in the torso and no hood up top. Coming down the sleeves, you do have Dainese CE Level 1 Pro Armor at the shoulder as well as at the elbow included. It's really awesome. It's kind of malleable. It has a lot of ventilation points throughout. It's nice and maneuverable, but it doesn't really hinder any of the movement. Dainese is known to use their composite armor, especially in their sportier jackets, things like that, which is a hard candy shell. I like that they're not using that here. When it comes to stylish and more around town options, I prefer their Pro Armor, and I think you would too. At the outer shoulder, you do have a pop-up reflective. You'll see it when we turn him to the side. Not much of a pre-curve when it comes to the sleeve, and that's part of the design. This is more for more upright riding. Think scooters, think touring bikes, things like that, riding around town. So keep that in mind. Not much pre-curve like we see from their aggressive sport jackets. And then you do have a 2-position snap adjuster just to really hone in the cuff down below. When we come up to the top, you can see nice waterproof zipper at the front, and over on the left-hand side, you do have a chest pocket with an asymmetry. It is going to be bagged as if it's waterproof. My suggestion would be, if you really need to protect something, put it inside the jacket. It's going to be behind that Absolute Pro Shell. No, not going to be any risk for any water just inching its way through there, so just keep that in mind with a TPR Dainese logo up on the left. 2 hand warmer pockets at each side, and if you go ahead and hit the side, we can actually show them. You got that popper reflective up here I talked about on the side. It might be hard to see with this camo, but it is there right along the side. No adjusters running down the side, no stretch or anything like that. The only thing is on the interior, you do have a cinch cord if you want to hone in this lower fit. But again, if you're looking for something to really hone in the fit, you might need to look elsewhere because the Corso doesn't offer too much when it comes to adjustability. Go ahead and face the back for me. At the back, I called it out before, you do have a strap. We actually have it installed right now to cinch up the hood. It is just a strap that then snaps on the inside of the jacket, but it is done in reflective. I think that's actually pretty tastefully done. It will stay there if you have the hood up, so you do get that reflectivity on the strap. I do dig it. Kind of it feels like an afterthought when it came to the design of it, but I like that they put the reflective over top. It uses its function, it does what it needs to do, and it adds a little bit of safety to the back. Very clean back side of the jacket. Pocket for a back protector. You're definitely going to want to add one in there just to be protected on your ride, but it doesn't come with one, just has the pocket inside of there, and a drop seat down at the base. Can you turn just half turn towards me a little bit? One thing I want to call out, you do have another asymmetrical pocket on the side shoulder with the pop of reflective. That's not on the other side that you saw before, so I want to make sure you saw that on this one. You go ahead and spin to the front and go ahead and unzip. Let's show them that thermal. The thermal liner is actually what I'm most excited about. When Dainese tries to really make a nice destination liner, they do a fantastic job. So I really dig that they've added this destination liner in here. It is a full sleeve thermal, so you have this throughout, but you can just pop off the outer shell if you get to work, if you get to the shopping center, wherever you're going, and just walk around in that thermal jacket. That's how nicely done it is. A little TPR logo up on the chest as well. Some storage pockets. You got one over on the left-hand side, that cinch cord I talked about before, and then this mesh interior liner. And like I said, you might be able to see it pop through, but you can actually see that Absolute Pro Shell laminated to the polyester on the exterior of the jacket. So I really dig the interior. I think they did a great job, and like I said, I'm very jealous. I actually wish I just had that thermal liner, even though Norman's wearing it right now. You can zip up for me, buddy. So there you have the Corso, and again, the women's is a Centrale version of the same jacket, aimed at cold riding out there, aimed at people maybe riding around town, looking to have something that's going to be battling the elements, but might not need the aggressiveness of something for high speed, like if you're running down the highway or anything like that, you might want to look at something with a CE AA abrasion resistance rating, so keep that in mind. But for the $435 price point for each, the men's and women's, I think Dainese did a great job, and I really dig this overall camo style that they're putting into effect here. But if you have any other questions, or if you want to see what other riders said, click that info button. That'll take you over to the product page where you can see what other riders are saying about the all-new Corso and Centrale jackets. If you still have questions after that, or if you have questions on sizing, reach out to our customer service agents. They're all riders, happy to help you get set up for your next ride. I want to thank you for joining Norman and I and checking out the Dainese Corso and Centrale Absolute Pro Shell jackets. I'm Pat. I'll see you in the next video.